Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most exciting topics for coin collectors and treasure hunters, the most valuable wheat pennies ever made so special. How much they're worth in today's market, and what you need to know to sell them successfully at auction. So let's get started. First up, the 1945 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny. Without mint mark, is a classic piece of mid-20th century American coinage, struck at the Philadelphia Mint during the closing year of World War II. It forms part of the long-running Lincoln Wheat Cent series, designed by Victor David Brenner, which featured the portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and two stylized wheat ears on the reverse. The coin symbolizes the strength and perseverance of the American people during a time of great global conflict and transition. The obverse of the 1945 Lincoln penny features the right-facing bust of Abraham Lincoln, surrounded by the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," along the top edge, "Liberty" to the left, and the date, 1945, to the right. Because there is no mint mark, it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. The reverse displays the simple but meaningful wheat design, with two curved stalks of wheat bordering the words 1 cent and United States of America. Above them appears the Latin motto E pluribus unum, which means out of many, one. This design, used from 1909 to 1958, remains one of the most admired in American numismatic history for its beauty and symbolism. In 1945, the Philadelphia Mint produced an enormous 1,040,515,000 wheat pennies, making this date one of the most common of the 1940s. The coin is composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc, weighs 3.11 grams, and measures 19 millimeters in diameter. Because of the large mintage and durable metal composition, 1945 wheat pennies are still easily found in circulation and collections today, though their condition and color can vary widely depending on how they were stored and handled over the decades. Your coin is described as being in full damage condition, with a brown color shade and some scratches. A coin in full damage condition typically means it has sustained heavy wear, corrosion, dents, or discoloration that obscure many of its original design details. The obverse may show Lincoln's portrait almost flat, with little to no visible hair or facial detail. The inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1945 might be partially faded or worn down. The reverse side may have most of the wheat stalk detail lost, and the central inscriptions, 1 cent, and United States of America could be faint or uneven. The brown color shade on the coin is common for older copper cents. Over time, copper reacts with oxygen and moisture, forming a natural patina that changes the coin's bright red color to a brown tone. In some cases, environmental exposure can cause darker or even black patches, especially if the coin was stored in humid or acidic conditions. While brown toning is normal and acceptable, when combined with heavy damage, it reduces the overall eye appeal and collector value of the coin. The mention of some scratches indicates additional surface wear, which is typical for coins that have circulated for decades. Scratches can result from contact with other coins, rough handling, or attempts to clean the surface. Cleaning, especially with abrasive materials, can leave visible marks that further lower a coin's value. Collectors usually prefer natural, uncleaned surfaces even when worn, as they show the coin's genuine age and authenticity. In today's coin market, a 1945 Lincoln wheat penny without mint mark, in full damage condition with a brown shade and scratches, has a low market value, typically between 0.02 and 0.05 USD. Essentially, it holds more sentimental and historical value than monetary worth. Coins in slightly better grades, such as good or fine condition, may sell for $0.10 to $0.15, while very fine examples can reach $0.25 to $0.40. Higher-end uncirculated coins, especially those that still retain their original red color, can be worth $1 to $3, and certified mint state red specimens may bring $10 or more, depending on visual quality. Although the coin's condition is poor, its historical importance is undeniable. The year 1945 marked the end of World War II, a period of triumph and relief for the United States and its allies. Every coin struck that year carries the memory of an era defined by sacrifice, victory, and hope for a better future. These pennies were part of daily life during that historic transition, from soldiers returning home to families rebuilding their lives after years of war. Even a heavily worn and damaged 1945 penny like yours is a small, tangible connection to that moment in history. Collectors often value such coins not for their price, but for the story they tell. Each scratch, dent, and color change is evidence of a journey that spans more than 80 years, passing through countless hands, pockets, and generations. Holding such a coin is like holding a fragment of the past, a reminder of how far the nation has come since those difficult wartime years. Next up, the 1944 Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny with the D Mint mark is one of the most recognized and historically meaningful coins from the World War II era. Struck at the Denver Mint, this coin is part of the beloved Lincoln Wheat Cent series designed by Victor David Brenner, which ran from 1909 to 1958. The obverse side features the classic right-facing portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, symbolizing honesty, leadership, and unity, while the reverse displays the two stylized wheat stalks that give the coin its popular nickname, the Wheat Penny. The 1944 D Wheat Penny has a fascinating history because it marked the return to a copper alloy. After the one-year experiment with steel cents in 1943, during World War II, the U.S. Mint temporarily changed the penny's composition to zinc-coated steel to conserve copper for ammunition and military equipment. However, the steel cents caused confusion and were prone to rust. So in 1944, the Mint resumed using a copper alloy made from recycled wartime shell casings. This composition, 95% copper and 5% zinc, became standard for the remainder of the Wheat Cent series. The Denver Mint produced an enormous 430,578,000 coins in 1944, making this one of the most common dates among Lincoln Wheat pennies. Each coin weighs 3.11 grams and has a diameter of 19 millimeters. Because of this high mintage, the 1944 D penny remains widely available today, though its value depends heavily on its condition, color, and any unique minting errors. Your coin is described as being in good condition with some scratches, which suggests it has seen many years of circulation. In this grade, most of the design elements remain visible but show significant wear. On the obverse, Lincoln's facial features, hair, and coat details appear smooth and flat, though the portrait is still easily recognizable. The inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date, 1944D, remain readable, even if slightly faded or weak in spots. On the reverse, the wheat stalks have lost most of their inner grain lines, leaving only the outer outlines visible. The words 1 cent and United States of America are clear, though worn. The scratches you mention are common in circulated coins and usually result from long-term handling, contact with other coins, or attempts to clean the surface. While light scratches are normal and acceptable for a coin of this age, deeper ones can slightly reduce its collector value. Collectors generally prefer coins that have not been polished or cleaned, as cleaning can strip the coin's natural patina and make surface marks more visible. In today's U.S. coin market, a 1944D Lincoln Wheat Penny in good condition with some scratches typically sells for around 0.05 to 0.10 USD. In better circulated grades, such as fine or very fine, the value can increase to 0.2 a Herbertina Puertordu. 15 to 0.2D, 230 to 8 wern, while coins in extremely fine condition may bring $0.40 to 0.75. Uncirculated examples with original red or red-brown color can sell from $1 to $4, and certified mint state red coins with full luster can reach $10 to $20 or more, depending on eye appeal. Although not rare in circulated grades, the 1944 D penny remains a highly collected and historically important issue. This coin also carries historical significance far beyond its face value. The year 1944 was one of the most crucial of World War II, marking major Allied victories in Europe and the Pacific. The copper in your coin was likely recycled from shell casings or other wartime materials, literally turning instruments of war into symbols of peace and commerce. That connection gives every 1944 penny a unique and powerful story. It represents transformation, recovery, and national unity during a defining moment in American history. Even though your coin has some scratches and wear, it remains a meaningful relic from a time when every cent played a part in the nation's war effort and post-war recovery. Its brown color tone, developed naturally over decades through oxidation, adds to its authenticity and character. Many collectors appreciate this aged look because it reflects the coin's genuine passage through time rather than artificial cleaning or alteration. Next up, the 1957 Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny with the D Mint mark is one of the final issues in the beloved Lincoln Wheat Cent series. Struck at the Denver Mint before the U.S. Mint transitioned to the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. Designed by Victor David Brenner, this coin carries the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the symbolic twin wheat stalks on the reverse. The Wheat Cent series, which began in 1909, remains one of the most widely collected coin series in American history due to its rich symbolism, historical importance, and simple beauty. The 1957 D Wheat Penny had an extremely high mintage of approximately 1,051,342,000 coins, reflecting the booming post-war economy and the wide use of pennies in daily commerce. Each coin was made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, weighed 3.11 grams, and measured 19 millimeters in diameter. Because so many were produced, most 1957 D pennies are still common today, especially in circulated grades. However, they continue to attract collectors who appreciate them as some of the last wheat pennies ever made. Your coin is described as being in fine condition, which means it circulated for several years but still retains moderate design detail. On the obverse, Lincoln's portrait remains clear and well-defined, though some high points, such as his cheek, hair, and jawline, show noticeable wear. The inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date, 1957 D, are all readable and bold. The reverse shows distinct outlines of the two wheat ears, though much of the inner grain detail has worn smooth. The words 1 cent and United States of America remain fully visible and sharp enough to read easily. Overall, the coin exhibits honest wear from circulation without significant loss of design elements. The coin's surface condition, described as having some scratches, is typical for coins that have been in use for decades. These scratches can result from contact with other coins, rough handling, or attempts to clean the surface. Light scratches generally do not heavily impact the coin's value, but deeper or numerous marks can slightly lower its eye appeal. It's best not to clean or polish such coins, as cleaning can remove the natural patina and cause micro-scratches that make the surface appear unnatural to collectors. In today's coin market, a 1957 D Lincoln Wheat Penny in fine condition with some scratches is valued at around 0.05 to 0.10 USD. Because the coin is common and was minted in huge quantities, its worth mainly depends on its preservation and color. Coins with more even brown toning and fewer surface blemishes may reach 0.15 to 0.25, while those in extra fine condition can be worth $0.30 to $0.50. Uncirculated examples with strong red luster typically sell between $1 and $3, and high-grade certified mint state red coins can fetch $10 or more, depending on their appearance and grade assigned by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC. Although the monetary value is modest, the 1957 D Lincoln penny remains historically significant. It was one of the last wheat cents ever produced, as the U.S. Mint replaced the reverse design with the Lincoln Memorial motif in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Thus, the 1957 D penny represents the closing chapter of an iconic era in American numismatics. Its simple design and enduring imagery of Lincoln reflect a time of stability, prosperity, and national pride in post-war America. The year 1957 was also part of a changing world. The dawn of the space age, growing global influence, and modern American optimism. Every 1957 D penny that circulated carried the image of Abraham Lincoln, a symbol of leadership and integrity, into a new generation of progress and innovation. Even in worn or scratched condition, your coin holds a deep connection to that historical period and the everyday lives of millions who used it in shops, schools, and homes across the country. Collectors often appreciate coins like yours for their historical story rather than just their market price. Each scratch and mark on the coin tells of years of circulation and human contact. Despite its age and modest value, it remains a tangible piece of history, a small artifact linking modern collectors to a past generation that experienced America's transformation during the 1950s. Next up, the 1935 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which produced over 245 million coins that year. Designed by Victor David Brenner, this coin is part of the historic Lincoln Wheat Cent series that began in 1909 and continued until 1958. Its design honors President Abraham Lincoln, one of the most respected figures in American history, and symbolizes the nation's unity and strength through changing times. The wheat penny is beloved among collectors, not only for its beauty and simplicity, but also for its connection to American history during the Great Depression era. Your 1935 Lincoln wheat penny is described as being in good condition, which suggests that it circulated widely and has noticeable wear on both sides. In this grade, much of the fine detail on Lincoln's hair and face is worn down, and the high points, such as his cheek and jawline, are smooth. The lettering and date are still legible, but the rim may appear slightly flattened in places. On the reverse, the wheat ears are faint, and the inner lines are mostly worn smooth, though their outlines remain visible. The inscriptions, 1 cent and United States of America, are still readable, which is essential for identifying the coin. The coin's description also notes some scratches, which are common for coins that have circulated for decades. These small marks may have resulted from the coin rubbing against other coins, rough surfaces, or being stored improperly. Light scratches generally don't greatly reduce the coin's collector value, but they can affect its appearance. However, collectors often value originality and natural toning more than perfection, especially with older wheat pennies like the 1935 issue. It is best to avoid cleaning the coin, as cleaning can remove the coin's natural surface patina and reduce its value even further. The 1935 Lincoln penny was made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, weighed 3.11 grams, and measured 19 millimeters in diameter. Because it was minted in such large numbers and copper was a durable material, many examples still exist today, though most are in circulated condition. Despite its age of nearly 90 years, The coin is not considered rare. Still, it holds great historical and sentimental value, especially as a surviving artifact from the Great Depression, a time when every penny had real purchasing power and meaning to the American people. In today's coin market, a 1935 Lincoln Wheat penny without mint mark in good condition with some scratches generally has a value of around 0.05 to 0.10 USD. While its face value is 1 cent, its collectible worth is slightly higher due to its age and appeal to Lincoln penny enthusiasts. If the coin is better preserved, such as in very fine or extremely fine condition, its value could rise to about 0.25 to 0.50 USD. Uncirculated examples with bright, red luster can be worth $2 to $5, and high-grade certified pieces from professional grading services may reach $10 or more, depending on their color and surface quality. The year 1935 also holds historical significance. America was in the midst of recovering from the Great Depression under President Franklin D. Roosevelt's New Deal policies. Millions of Americans were working hard to rebuild their lives, and coins like the 1935 penny were essential in daily commerce, buying bread, stamps, or even saving towards something important. Each penny passed through countless hands, telling silent stories of struggle, perseverance, and hope. Your coin, even with scratches and wear, is a direct connection to that era of endurance and determination. Next up, the 1929 Abraham Lincoln Wheat penny without a mint mark is a classic piece of early 20th century American coinage, struck at the Philadelphia Mint during a time of both economic growth and looming uncertainty before the Great Depression. This coin is part of the long-running Lincoln Wheat Cent series, which began in 1909 and lasted until 1958. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it features the portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and 2 symbolic wheat stalks on the reverse. The 1929 penny reflects the enduring spirit of America during a pivotal period in history, and even today, it holds great appeal among coin collectors for its age, design, and historical significance. Your coin is described as being in good condition, which means it's circulated widely and has noticeable wear across both sides. In this grade, much of Lincoln's fine hair and face details have been worn smooth, though his outline remains clearly visible. The inscriptions, "In God We Trust Liberty," and the date 1929 are still legible, though some may appear slightly faint. On the reverse, the wheat stalks are visible only in outline, with most of the interior grain detail worn away. The words 1 cent and United States of America remain readable, but may show light flattening. This level of wear is normal for a coin that has been in use for nearly a century. The description mentions some scratches, which is common for coins that have been handled and circulated for decades. These scratches are often the result of the coin rubbing against other coins, being dropped, or coming into contact with rough surfaces over time. While light surface marks are expected on older copper coins, deeper scratches can slightly reduce collector interest. However, collectors value authenticity over perfection, and a naturally aged coin with its original patina is often considered more desirable than one that has been polished or cleaned. Therefore, it's best not to clean the coin, as cleaning can remove its natural surface tone and significantly lower its numismatic value. The 1929 Lincoln Wheat penny was struck in 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, with a standard weight of 3.11 grams and a diameter of 19 millimeters. Despite its age, this coin is not particularly rare because of its large mintage and the durability of copper. However, well-preserved examples in higher grades are more sought after. The year 1929 marks an important moment in American history, as it was the year of the Wall Street stock market crash, which led to the Great Depression. This makes coins from that year especially meaningful to collectors, representing both economic prosperity and the beginning of a challenging chapter in the nation's history. In today's collector market, a 1929 Lincoln wheat penny without mint mark in good condition with some scratches is typically valued between 0.5 and 0.107 USD. Although its value is modest, it holds strong historical appeal and is a popular piece among those who collect early Lincoln cents. In very fine condition, it might bring 0.25 to 0.50, while extra fine examples can reach 0.75 to 1 to ceros. Uncirculated red coins with original mint luster are far more valuable, often selling for $5 to $15, and certified high-grade pieces can sometimes fetch $25 or more, depending on their color, red, red-brown, or brown, and preservation. The historical background adds great depth to the appeal of this coin. The year 1929 was one of transformation and turbulence for the United States. It began with optimism and industrial strength, but ended with the devastating stock market crash in October, which marked the start of the Great Depression. For millions of Americans, every penny became precious, and coins like this circulated heavily in daily life, buying bread, postage stamps, or small necessities. The fact that your 1929 penny survived through that period makes it a small but powerful relic of endurance, representing a time when even a single cent carried real value and meaning. Collectors often admire these coins not only for their monetary worth, but for the stories they hold. Each mark and scratch on your 1929 penny tells a silent story of hands it passed through. Factory workers, farmers, shopkeepers, and families trying to make ends meet during difficult times. It's a tangible piece of American history that bridges nearly a century of change, from the Great Depression to the modern digital era. If you wish to preserve your coin, store it in a protective coin holder or mylar flip to prevent further scratching or exposure to air. Keep it in a dry place, away from humidity and direct sunlight. Avoid polishing or cleaning it, as doing so can permanently alter its surface and diminish its historical charm. Collectors value the natural aged appearance, the deep brown or reddish tone that copper coins acquire over time.